GoFundMe on Friday said that they had removed a fundraiser for the convoy that raised more than $8 million because it violated its terms of service. The company said they released an initial $1 million in donations last week after they provided clear distribution plan and confirmed that they would only be used for those participating in a peaceful protest. So we have a history here. This is GoFundMe. This is during the Summer of Love. Not only did they allow money to be raised for those who held up in CHOP in the Seattle area, they promoted it. So people came out and said, do you know what happened in CHOP? Teenagers were shot. I think there was like 6 shootings, at least 1 fatality. Like it's way more crazy and out of hand than anything that's happening in Ottawa. And they supported it and promoted it. Like we were talking about gardening. So they did that with this thing. Now, using GoFundMe was not a good move. But what happened? The people rose up. People online did videos. And they're losing the narrative. People did videos. People were all over social media. People donated. I'm going to get into that. They took their donation back from GoFundMe and put it somewhere else. Based on that people effort, we have LawTube and people like this is Robert Barnes I'm showing right now, who's great on the show with Viva Free or Fry. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Viva's great. Viva and Barnes. I subscribe to them on Locals. They are, if you want the law broken down in a way to make it easy to understand, they are the ones. So it started with the people. Then Barnes is still a person, but he's got legal clout. He's no joke. He's been in front of the Supreme Court. So he is legit. And he said, there's a lawsuit here, there's a possible class action lawsuit here. GoFundMe's a little shook. Then on top of that, it went from the people to Barnes to all the other big personalities. DeSantis is like, I'm going to investigate y'all. Then GoFundMe's like, we're out. Let's just give the money back. They were going to put it to a charity that they approved and the truckers approved. What is that? That's not what I agreed to give my money to. Give me my money back. So they did that to avoid those problems. The people rose up. That's my white pill. And then the other white pill is Give, Send, Go or whatever. This other site popped up and they raised money there after being denied on GoFundMe. They went over to the Christian crowdfunding site, Give, Send, Go, and they started raising money. And he raised more than $3.5 million in 2 days, a rate that was higher than GoFundMe. These are good moments. These are parallel economies. This is where we get to where Sarah Silverman wanted to go. A peaceful divorce. That's what this is heading towards. You have your funding site, everybody else has theirs. That's where we're heading. Peacefully. That's the same thing with Rogan. The take, and everybody, if you listen to the channel, knows I love Tim Pool and the cast. We're going to disagree from time to time. Everybody's piling on with Joe Rogan, and it's like, well, you never apologize to the mob. That's your take? I understand where you're coming from, but that can't be your big takeaway. Joe Rogan is under pressure either way. And respectfully, Tim, he couldn't have just ignored this like the Jack Murphy stuff with you. I respect how you ignored the Jack Murphy stuff. I don't put the Jack Murphy stuff on Tim Pool. But what I'm saying is the impression I got from Tim saying, going at Joe in a respectful manner, he wasn't, he's cool with Joe. But the impression I got was like, Tim didn't say it, but he had a Jack Murphy problem and he just ignored it to my knowledge. I don't think he ever talked about it. I haven't seen Jack on the show since. And it's almost like Tim wanted Joe to handle that. The Joe Rogan problems are the government. This is the establishment, the cabal. It's not Jack Murphy. You can't ignore that. Or say you did ignore it. It's not fixing anything. Whether Joe Rogan apologized or ignored it or fought back, the same thing would have happened. Nothing would have been different. I think their style is like Elon Musk, where Elon Musk ignores most bad Tesla news. He fired his PR team. He only has a small group of people. And he's like, because what he said is when we respond to the bad news, all that does is create another news cycle. So I hear you on that. But the takeaway should be, Joe, you said, well, I don't want to say what it should be. Here's my takeaway. And this is how it relates to the GoFundMe and the Give, Send, Go. It's Joe, you made the right move going from YouTube to Spotify. Because if Joe Rogan was on YouTube, he would have been permabanned right now. He would be gone. All his episodes would have been taken down. Great move going to Spotify. He took his audience to Spotify and made it even bigger. But now it's clear Spotify ain't the right place. So I don't know how it happens, but you got to get the hell out of there. Spotify, I appreciate what Spotify did up to this point, but Joe Rogan has to get out of Spotify. He's got to get the hell out of there. That's my takeaway. And look at the parallel economies working. I was like, why not Gab? Gab has their own physical servers that they maintain. They're the ones pulling the whatever they are, the hard drives or whatever, out of the shelves. That's crazy. They had to build their own infrastructure. That's how it has to start. I want Joe Rogan on those servers. You can't cancel that. Well, you can, but it's a lot harder. I don't want Joe Rogan on Amazon Web Services. Even Rumble. Rumble would be a great move. Rumble can't be the final destination. Even Rumble isn't that independent. They got to get more independent. They're public. So they got investors. So they got all this going on. But it is a next logical step. If Joe Rogan wanted to invest his money back into his thing, he could buy his own servers, hire people, but he doesn't have to do that. It's whatever. That's the next move. Is I got to get out of here. They're pulling my episodes. I pulled the Joe Rogan episodes with Michael Malice and all these other people. Kyle Kalinske talked about it on Twitter, and he said, I think they pulled my episodes from Joe Rogan. Kyle's from the left. If you don't know Kyle Kalinske from Justice Democrats, he's on the left. He's like AOC left, like real left, not fake AOC. They pulled his episode from Joe Rogan, and he thinks it's because he went after the Saudis. And Spotify just expanded right after that, episode or whatever into the Saudi market. So I don't think he has proof of it, but he's like, that could be it. So we know Spotify isn't it. This is like the movie where the band of rebels are being chased out of one cave in the dystopian future, and then they're going to the next cave. Just like the Matrix, where you have the spider things, the sentinels or whatever, chasing them when they're out of the Matrix. Then you got to run to the hiding spot, run to the next hiding spot. That's where we're at. So at some point, we've got to get together. Like everybody who's running to hiding spots, you have no power when you're by yourself. Create decentralized networks and go where you have your own servers. You don't have to rely on Google Ad Network. You don't have to rely on Amazon, the App Store. You can't be relying on those things. If you're on the App Store, then you have to obey Apple's rules, Google's rules. That's why Getter's the way it is. I love what I'm seeing. The power of the people is stronger than the people in power. Let me know what you think.